All right, I want to discuss three topics. The first one is the protocols of the learned elders of Zion. I think I got that right. I read that manifesto several years ago. Back then I thought it was very interesting, but as the years passed, you forget some of the details thereof, and I decided I'll go this way. Yeah. I decided that I would reread it. So I did a Google search, the title of the book and PDF. Usually this is free to download, but all the search results came back. There were whatever 20 search results on the first page, and none of them pertained to a PDF of the book itself. All of the links were from different Jewish groups denouncing the fabrication, the fraud that was the protocols of the learned elders of Zion. And I thought, this is very strange. I'm not getting any PDF links here, they're just all links about how the book is anti-Semitic. I might sit down here actually. As long as someone doesn't come on a bicycle. Right. Yeah, this is nice. Right. So I was laughing my head off as I drank my morning coffee at all these disclaimers. And all these disclaimers were telling me that I was wasting my time. I was wasting my time trying to find a PDF version on Google. I was wasting my time because didn't I know it was a fabrication? The whole work was a fabrication. The whole work was a fraud. It was just, an anti-Semitic fraud, and I shouldn't waste my time reading it. Whatever I do, I should read people. I should read the critiques of people who read it, who, could denounce it. But I myself shouldn't. I shouldn't look into these things. These highfalutin manifestos. So this piqued my interest even more. I said, damn it, I'm definitely going to reread the book now, because Google, according to Google and all their different contributors, this manifesto shouldn't be read at all. It's forbidden fruit. And as you know, there's nothing so sweet as forbidden fruit. I went to the second page of search results, and then I started getting some PDF links, but they were from different universities, different post-grad PDFs, claiming how the protocols of the learned elders of Zion, it doesn't roll off the tongue. How it was a fraud. That was their PhD. That's their PhD. So I went to a different search engine and I found it, and I read the preface. I read the first two protocols, I think, highlighted some text. I do plan in the future, it could be in the next few days depending on this person's availability, but there is someone I know I've spoken to before, and I think he has done some recordings on this manifesto, so I'll see if he wants to join me in a discussion on that book. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, it was very funny. You know, it's like we're told that, you know, you've got everything on the internet, it's at your fingertips, but as time, I would say in the last 4 or 5 years, you'll notice that more times than not, especially if you have a curious mind, you're not going to be able to find, or you will, but with great difficulty, the books you're looking for. So yeah, I thought that was very funny. So yeah, there you go. It's not for the faint-hearted, guys. Going by what Dougal could come up with, you should stay well clear of this book. It could damage you emotionally, spiritually. So and besides, it's just a fabrication. It's like going into the bookshop, and I don't care. I don't care about its authenticity. I care about its contents. But I was thinking, it's like going into a bookshop and there's one copy of George Orwell's 1984, and you go to buy it, and the clerk tells you, "Oh no, sir, I recommend you choose another title because this 1984 it's been proven to be a fabrication, don't you know?" It's an anti-Semitic fabrication about a guy called Goldstein. Please, I beseech you, choose a different title. How about something from, I don't know, Anne Frank, which is in no way a fabrication. Right, that's that topic. The second topic is, about that. So in the last video I spoke about an Irish journalist and how she had a guest on her show who's an American Catholic, and they were at loggerheads over Catholicism and how it excludes any notions of race, of ethnic kinship, etc., according to the guest. And the Irish journalist didn't seem impressed by this, but she has since then she's come out with another video, telling people to leave her guest alone because he's received backlash from what she calls the white boys, and she says the word white as if she's coughing up phlegm. She doesn't seem to like the word white at all. And she said in that video that she didn't like using the word white because if you say white when you're talking about Irish people, you're then saying white Irish, which means you're leaving the door open to saying black Irish and yellow Irish and whatever Irish. I would say that if you can't say that the Irish are a pale-skinned people, if you can't say that the Irish have white skin in general, then you're leaving the door open to anyone. So I would use a similar tact against what she said. You're leaving the door open then, because if you can't define it in any physical way, then anyone can be Irish. So you get hoisted by your own petard, or whatever the expression is. So she's still it's like, it's kind of like, I don't listen to her very often, but listening to this latest video, it's kind of like an animal in a very small cage, and the animal has created their own cage. They've imprisoned themselves, and in that case you have to choose between religion and race. You can't have both, especially if the religion condemns the idea of race. Right, that's that topic. And the final one, I saw it on Twitter this morning that, if some of you recall, was it earlier this year? I think it was earlier this year, before the summer, somewhere in America, a morbidly obese black woman who does not look like a civilized person. If you see photos of this thing, she's gruesome looking. She looks completely retarded. And I think it's the case in which a morbidly obese black woman was in a supermarket or a shopping centre, walking around with a knife, waving the knife and walking around. There was CCTV footage of it. And you can see the other shoppers, they see her, but they ignore her. They just continue shopping. You know, oh, look, it's, you know, a deranged looking black woman waving a knife and possibly having a heated discussion with herself. Let's just avoid eye contact and pretend she's not there. Let's just continue shopping and get the hell out of here. Get home with our groceries. Get home in one piece. But she, in the CCTV footage, from what I remember, there's a mother walking out with her, I think he was 3 years old or something. She's walking out with him. I think she has a trolley, what the Americans call a shopping cart. And you can see the black woman, she suddenly looks back at the woman and the child. And it's as if she's decided, that's who I'm going to kill. So she did. She murdered the infant, the toddler, whatever. She murdered him with a knife. She was arrested, and there was a video came out not long after that, a few weeks after. Everyone will remember she was smirking. You know, she was smirking as the judge was, disclosing the crime she had committed. She was just smirking away, as if, damn you, judge, and damn your rules. I don't play by your rules. You know, what are you going to do to me? You can't do anything. You can't do shit, man. You can't do shit. Smirking away. Now, it turned out, I think this came out yesterday, that she has been declared unfit for trial. So it's been thrown out of court because she has been declared mentally unwell. Not mentally well enough to be sentenced in a court. It's another way, it's a nice way, it's a diplomatic way of saying she's not human, she's a fucking animal, you know. It's a diplomatic way of saying she's a fucking animal, she's a fucking monster, right? So, she's going to be sent to some mental institution for whatever, rehabilitation. You know, what the Catholics call forgiveness. You gotta forgive, you gotta forgive. And I've often thought about it, and I know some people have expressed this too, that, if you're bringing in all these people into your society, people who are mentally incapable of being sentenced in a court of law, people who have the mental age, I'd say in the case of this creature, she had the mental age of a 3-year-old child, the same age as the toddler that she killed. You have to ask yourself, what's the point? I'll just wait 1 second. All right. You have to ask yourself, what's the point? Because if you have a pit bull and the pit bull is unaccompanied and it mauls a child to death, the police don't turn up. They don't try and put handcuffs, halters, whatever, on the pit bull. They don't bring the pit bull off in the back of the paddy wagon. I think when they arrested this creature, they were very polite to her, the police. They were very, very polite to her. And a lot of people were alarmed by that. She had just murdered a toddler in cold blood. And the police were speaking to her with a lot of respect. They were very, very polite. But this is the idea, you know, can you imagine the police anyway getting a pit bull into the back of a squad car and reading the pit bull, you know, that's covered in blood, covered in the blood of the child it's killed, you know, reading the pit bull its rights, putting the pit bull in a cell, feeding it, making sure it's not sick. They bring the pit bull to the court and the judge looks at the pit bull and says, you know what, we're going to send you off to Crazy Town. We're going to send you off to the mental institution for dogs, where you will be rehabilitated. That would sound laughable, and rightly so. And likewise, this creature murdered a child, an innocent child, in cold blood, and you know, she's not being put down, or it's not being put down for its horrendous crime. It's not even going to prison because it's not mentally well enough. Another way of saying it's a fucking animal. It's a fucking retard. And then you have to ask the question, if you have all these retards walking around, having heated discussions with themselves, waving knives about, and then randomly just following, you know, a mother and a child out into a parking lot and murdering the child, you know, you have to ask yourself, why don't they have, you know, if we must have these animals in our society, where are the chaperones? Where are the people that look after the mentally retarded? Where are they? Why do all these millions of mentally retarded creatures in our society not have chaperones? And people would say, well, it wouldn't be economically viable. Well, if it's not economically viable, then other options must be looked at. Because this can't go on. This can't go on. People talk about a two-tier justice system. Well, there are millions of animals amongst us that will never be touched by the law. They are outside the law. Completely outside the law. And a million light years away from a European sense of law, a European sense of justice.